I am going to be working through getting data, analyzing data, and putting it in your lab template. So you should be at Metastem on your account. We're going to be using the lab template, so let's open that first. Go ahead and download it. Every time you should go ahead and get another copy of it, because I may make changes on it. You need to enable editing, and you need to save it to someplace nice. It's always best to save it to your HISD. Save as. Save as. We are going to save it to your OneDrive, and we are going to give it a name. In this case, I'm going to give it the name Ohm's Law. Okay? So, now before we get there, this is a very large thing. It's a poster. It's a couple feet by a couple feet. So right now it's small. When you work on it, you are going to be making it larger, and you'll be following the instructions to fill it out. You can go ahead and put your title, your name, date, and the school now if you wish. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to collect data. So we're going to Excel. And we're going to have a blank worksheet. So we're going to put data in the blank worksheet. Now in this case, the data we're going to take, the example I'm going to do today, is the Discover Ohm's Law. So you're going to go to Circuit Build, you're going to build the circuit. And you're going to take some data. So just to give you an example of data that you're going to take, let me go ahead and really quick build this circuit. We have a circuit, and in the instructions, I am asking you to collect data. I am asking you to collect 10 sets of the battery, and so we're going to change the battery, and we're going to measure the current through the circuit. So, you're going to set the resistor to some value. It doesn't matter what value you take. You're going to set the battery to some value, record the current. You're going to set to some other value, record the current. You're going to set to some value and record the current. So that is how you are going to collect your data. And I'm asking you to collect 5 data points. So I'm asking you to collect 5 data points. So what that means is you're going to change the battery to 5 different values and record the current. Change the battery, record the current, do that 5 times. Please do not use my data. Half the fun of this is doing it yourself. I know that you're sitting there saying, oh, we can just do it, but guys, please just use your own data, run through the simulation, practice it, practice this, because this is the kind of skills you need for the future. Okay, so please run this on your own and get your own 5 data points. Okay, we are going to now graph your data. So graph your own data. I'm just going to make up some data. So we're going to graph the battery on one axis and the current on the other axis. Now, because of what we want to calculate and because of the relationship that we're going to be investigating, which is Ohm's law, V is going to, so the current in amps is going to be on the x-axis, and the battery in volts, so current in amps is on the x-axis, battery in volts is on the y-axis. And let's make these a little bigger if I can do that. So I am just going to make up some data. Okay? So 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. I am making up data. Do not do this. These are not values that you should have. These are not values that I should see. Okay? I am just doing you I'm just giving you an example and showing you the process. So, you type in your data, and there you have it. Now, you use the mouse to select the data. You go to charts. You go to insert. This seems very complicated, but it's not. Just follow along with me. You go to insert. You go to scatter. See where it says scatter? You click on it. You go to the scatter plot and you put it in. There you have it. It is that simple. Go to scatter plot, and put it there. Now, to make a proper graph, we have to have it properly done. So, I now need to format the X and Y axis because all we have here are numbers, and in science, numbers are meaningless. Okay, I'm going to double-click on the axis, and I'm going to add chart elements. So, I'm going to add an axis title. On the vertical and horizontal, I am going to add a trend line, and in this case it looks like a line, so I'm going to add a line. Now, in other activities, you may have a different shape. So you need to go through and you need to choose the shape that's right for you. In this case, my data clearly looks linear, so I'm going to do linear. And then I'm going to go to more trend line options, and I am going to add a equation. Okay? So, let's review what I did. I clicked on the axis, I added a chart element, axis title, primary and vertical. I went to the trend line, I set my trend line to the proper trend line that matches the data, and then I went to more trend line options, and I said display an equation. Okay? So, now all we have to do is put the x-axis as current in amps, the y-axis as the battery, potential in volts. And there you have it. This is your equation. The slope is 100 and the y-intercept is 20. Now your y-intercept should not be 20. Your y-intercept for your data should be close to 0. Again, I made up the data, and because I made up the data, I have a y-intercept that makes no sense. Your y-intercept should be 0 or close to 0 if your data is correct. If you have a y-intercept that is not close to 0, you made a mistake because it makes no sense. Your slope is the value of the resistor because this is Ohm's law. The battery voltage potential is equal to the resistance, which is 100, times the current. The current is on the x-axis, the potential is on the y-axis. So y is the battery potential, is equal to the resistance, which is 100, times the x, which is the current. V equals IR. If you did it correctly, this should be close to 0. It doesn't have to be exactly 0, but it should be close to 0. Now, what you do is you take this graph, you copy it, you paste it in your PowerPoint. And you make it big. You may move things around. You may not change the color or the size, but feel free to move things around. For this lab, you do not need the second picture. You want to make it look prettier than this and make it big. You get the idea. You move things around. Up here, what I want is a screenshot. So I want a screenshot of your circuit. And the way you do that is you go back to your circuit and go to snipping tool. Okay? So there you have your snipping tool, and you may make a copy of it. And again, you may simply paste it in here. Okay. And it is that simple. So, okay. So for pictures, this is what I need to look like. I need a graph. I need a picture. All this text you are going to delete, and you are going to add your own information. This text is very special. It is for typesetters to know immediately that it is dummy text and that it needs to be replaced. So if you don't replace it, I know immediately that you did not do anything and that nothing has been done and that the lab is not complete. So, save this. All you need to do now is go through the instructions. So, the instructions are here. It tells you what to do for each section. When you are done, you are going to export as a PDF. It is useful to export it to the desktop so you know where it is. You do not need to have it in a place that you can save it because it is here. Then you go back to the lab and you add submission. And it wants a file. So you click here, you click upload a file, you click choose a file, you click your desktop, voila, there it is, and you upload the file and you are done. You save the changes and you are done. So that is it. Please do not upload a file with just the picture in it. Please try to follow the instructions and actually type in stuff that you learned. In particular, I am looking for the introduction that you do last, where you tell me what you have learned, and the conclusion where you write a CER. Thank you. That is all.